I'm an action figure addict, as I stuff away more boxes in my attic. What do you fathom? I'm a fanatic, and they stand too tall in the detour. Action poses now, cause you cough and they topple over, cause they like to do that in the toy business over. Now we on to the Hasbro, or is it not a Hasbro? Cause we saying how we feeling when we praying, and we hoping that they doing the legends right.
Hey, what's up guys? Listening to the Any podcast with Cordicon. We got a new hosts this time around. Hunt Kelly, he's from God. Thanks guys for listening to Hunt and I, Cordicon. This is right now known as Any podcast, but we are in debates of just calling it what our group is, and that is. How's it going, Hunt?
Hey, I'm great. How are you? I'm great.
Doing pretty good, man. You know, it's a snowy Sunday. You got any snow down there in Georgia?
Never.
Never. Are you in the
almost never.
Are you north or south Georgia?
Kind of mid.
Okay. Yeah, I used to know a couple people down there, and yeah, that's what they said too. It never snows. But yeah, this podcast is basically in cooperation with our group FIGPLA, Figures in Plastic, where we just like to talk about figures in plastic. And one thing that's been on my mind, and you're a great person to bounce this conversation back and forth from, is the figure arts Predator and Alien, basically it's an Alien vs. Predator line coming out under the Monster Arts line by Bandai. Now you got a couple Monster Arts, don't you?
Yeah, I got lots of Monster Arts and several other super articulated figures from Tamahashi Nations and Bandai. So.
Yeah, and that's what they go under, right? To Tamahashi Nations. See, I tell you what, I used to be a 6-inch scale collector. Kind of got out of it, and I was trying to just focus on Gundams and models, but then NECA just keeps freaking kicking ass at their figures. But there was a time when I was gonna dedicate my resources to figure arts. I mean, just that whole Japanese Bandai thing. I really do enjoy, and I pulled the trigger. I wanted to pull the trigger on a lot of figure arts figures, and I did once on the Tiger figure, which is a great figure. At the time, I think I paid like $25. It was one of those Amazon sales. And I don't know if you watched the show, but Tiger and Bunny, they have this good luck mode, where basically Tiger and his good luck mode, he's got this huge arm, and Bunny and his good luck mode, he's got this huge foot. And the Tiger figure was great. There was like this little snap-on where you would snap on his good luck arm, and I couldn't get that thing off for the life of me without trying to break it. So I sent it back, and I've never bought another one. Now these Predator ones coming out, they look awesome. I mean that's the Wolf Predator, even the Xenomorph. I think that's the Warrior, isn't it?
Yes.
I want to, judging by the photos, they look awesome, but I don't know, my collecting habit, like right now, how I said I'm collecting NECA, which besides the Pacific Rim figures, they base everything on a 7-inch scale. Obviously, Pacific Rim doesn't really fall into that category, but they're still in relative scale in 7-inch, between the Pacific Rim franchise.
Right.
Yeah, so my collecting habits now have basically been like Diamond Select, DC Collectibles. I try to have everything in a certain scale. I do want to pick up, I don't know if I'm going to, the Monster Arts Predator figure like how I was just discussing. How do you feel about that in relation to the NECA one? Are you going to pick it up, or?
I probably won't pick it up just because there's a lot of other stuff coming out from their line I'd rather have, just Godzilla stuff and etc. that I grew up watching. But they do look awesome because I don't even have a NECA xenomorph yet. I know that sounds sad, but I've been getting other import stuff, so I haven't really had the money.
I hear you there. And the xenomorph. Talking to Randy though on Twitter, I kind of told him that I was kind of disappointed by them using the rubbery plastic type of joints, because the xenomorph and the warriors, they got that Legends type of bendy joints. You know what I mean?
I do.
And I've never been a fan of that. I imagine they do it so, you know, the joint don't break, or there's probably a good reason behind it. But I know you can relate to in Georgia. I'm sure when it gets hot down there, that bendy plastic, it sure warps very easy at like 90 degrees.
And I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, and the xenomorph from NECA suffers that greatly. I mean, it's awesome. It's definitely worth the price point. But I don't know. For their first attempt at a super articulate xenomorph, they did fantastic. Now, the figure arch joints, do they got some pretty interesting articulation, and their articulation, it doesn't have that bendy type of plastic, right?
Well, I can't be too spot on because once again I don't really have any of the aliens. I have some Predators though. Is it like the Predators joint?
No, not at all. Not at all. The Predators joints, they got that hard plastic. But I mean, on your figure arts Power Ranger figures, how are those joints? Are they are they? Is it a durable plastic, or is it that soft type of plastic that warps very easy and basically strips out over time when you bend it enough?
Oh no, it's very durable. I haven't had any problems.
Cause you posted that mask on Facebook of that Power Ranger, and that was the Sentai. Is that what they're called, or?
That was from Power Rangers Super Samurai, or it's Shinkenger in Japan, and that was the Shogun Ranger helmet.
Shogun, that's right. I saw that red Power Ranger at Toys R Us probably 3 days ago. I was kind of curious how much it was, but I didn't scan it at the counter. I thought about picking it up, but I didn't, just because there's kind of a few paint flaws. And the toes, you know how they used that metal die-cast feet? They were all chipped to crap. Now, I'm not saying that's how every figure arts was, but that's how that one was. And it was the only one there. So I kind of just set it back down and didn't pick it up. I mean, I guess my point is, I've tried convincing myself many times to pick up a figure arts, but never do. What's your love about them? What is it, the whole Godzilla aspect, or is it the actual figures? Is it the line that you collect, or is it the figure arts and the monster arts that you like about it?
Well, personally, I buy figures for the character. Like, I won't buy a figure unless I'm familiar with the character, and that just helps me justify the purchase, I suppose. But I started getting Godzilla figures. The first one I got was the Comic-Con exclusive Godzilla when I was up in Chicago during G-Fest. It was the same week as Comic-Con, and it came out, and the vendors at G-Fest had it somehow, so I got one from them. And my first figure art was the Shinken Red Ranger we were just talking about, and I loved it too. I fell in love with it, and that's what got me hooked. And a buddy of mine started watching Kamen Rider, so then I had to get them too, and I've been watching Ultraman, so I had to get the Ultraman figures and the Pokemon figures, and it just kind of got hooked, I suppose.
And see, that's where I'm sorry. Continue.
Oh, I was sorry.
That's
I was going to say, I really love them. I really don't have a problem with any of them. They're all really durable. I have maybe like one tiny little paint flaw on my Mighty Morphin Red Ranger, but out of every single Tamashi Nations figure I have, that is the only flaw. Only paint flaw anyways. And they keep improving articulation, even though it's already the best ever. They keep putting more and more in, and they're finding really clever ways to hide the joints so that it looks as smooth as possible, and that's really great too.
Yeah, the smooth. It's pretty amazing what they do to make it look like it does not have joints. How they fold up inside the thighs and inside the calves, and same with the elbows. And that's what you're referring to?
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. I love it.
Now, going on to that, see, it's like every time I want to pull the trigger on the figure arts, I see something like the new DC collectibles and that new comic, DC comic, it's Forever Evil with the Crime Syndicate.
Right.
Have you seen those DC collectible figures? They had prototypes, and then they got test images, and they're going to start releasing them around January, February. It's the whole Crime Syndicate.
Yeah, I have seen those.
Now, just judging by that, it almost looks like they're trying to duplicate some of that figure arts articulation in the legs and whatnot.
Oh. Yeah.
It's almost like a the Justice that video game Injustice.
Injustice.
Those 3 3/4. It looks like they're trying to get those in a 7-inch scale.
The Injustice figure is going to be in a 7-inch scale?
No, but they used that type of articulation in the Injustice line where it kind of hides the knee joints.
Oh, the 3 3/4 inch Injustice line, you mean?
Yep, and then that new 7-inch scale, it looks like a lot of that articulation. It's not an Injustice 7-inch line. They're going to be doing figures based on the Crime Syndicate, but the articulation that the 7-inch is using, it looks like it's very similar to the Injustice 3 3/4 articulation.
A bit. I don't really. I don't have any of those because I hear they're pretty fragile.
Yeah, exactly. They are. I don't have any either, but I'm really excited about that 7-inch line. Is what I'm saying. And this whole conversation here, I'm trying to segue into one question here, and that is, you obviously don't mind collecting different scales. I've seen I've seen your Legends, your Monster Arts, your NECAs, your figure arts, and I used to be like that, but I can't come to grips with collecting different sizes. It has to be in a scale for me. You know what I mean?
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, it's a little the same way. As long as I have something to go with it, though, I'm fine.
Right, like if you got a common, you got a Joker and a Fang or something. Like
right.
Two or whatever. Now, what's your big draw to Godzilla? Obviously, your YouTube name, Godzilla and Gigan. And Gigan, is that like the baby Godzilla?
No, it's a cyborg from space.
Okay.
Actually.
Gotcha.
Yeah, pretty awesome.
Is that in the Godzilla universe? Or is that totally separate?
Yeah. No, he's in the Godzilla universe. He's my favorite monster.
What got you into that?
Truth be told, I have no idea because I have been watching Godzilla literally as long as I can remember. I mean, Godzilla is like my life.
Really?
I need it to breathe. Oh yeah.
Wow. When I was a kid, I mean, like my daughter's age, like between 6 and 8, I used to watch it all the time. But around that time, the 1988 or 89 Batman was coming out, the X-Men was coming out. I got out of it, and I actually did watch the first season of Power Rangers when it came out, and it's not Godzilla, but it does have those big monsters, with the very cheesy looking tall robots or the fighters, I forgot what they're called, but the little cut scenes where you got the Godzilla looking monster fighting a whatever.
Zord?
Yeah, exactly, a Zord, or very cheesy, but it's very similar to the Kamen Rider, the Ultraman, all that stuff. That's pretty much what they do.
Yeah, it's all toku. It's all the same genre. So.
Right. And it's like, was Godzilla first before? Because I think, was Ultraman the first monster fighting series? Or was it Kamen Rider?
Yeah, Godzilla was the first official kaiju. He was inspired by King Kong and The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, which are two of my favorite films also. Some of my heroes made those films. And then stuff like that went on to inspire Ultraman, which was the first Toku superhero ever. The first tokusatsu hero. And because of Ultraman, things like Super Sentai and Power Rangers, Iron King, Mirror Man, Kamen Rider, Master Rider, stuff like that went on to be created, all because of Ultraman and Godzilla.
And Masked Rider, that's basically an American version of Kamen Rider, isn't it?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, actually. Same suits and everything.
Where do you watch that at? I have never seen that on TV. I just know about it.
Truth be told, I've never actually watched Masked Rider. I have watched Kamen Rider. I watch a lot of Kamen Rider.
Gotcha.
The exact... I was going to say the exact opposite's kind of true for Power Rangers, because I watch a lot of Power Rangers, and with the Super Sentai, I've only watched the movies and one series.
Okay.
So
now a lot of the reasons why I'm bringing up this Godzilla stuff is because of that 2014 movie coming out. How do you feel about that?
Well, Gareth Edwards is directing it, and this isn't the first giant monster kaiju film he's made. He made Monsters a few years ago, and it was spectacular.
Is he is he an American filmmaker or Japanese?
No, he is not. He is English, actually. He's English.
Have you read up at all, like what inspired him to make this movie, or where he got his creativity from? Or
yeah, I know Destroy All Monsters, which is a pretty popular Godzilla film, was a big inspiration for him. Okay. He said if they get the green light for a sequel, which I hope they will, then that will probably be what he makes it based off of. But this first one should be pretty good. It's not just going to be Godzilla. It's going to have other monsters in it, so we'll get to see a brawl, which is pretty great.
Nice.
And have you seen the trailer?
You know, I have not. And I'm super into pop culture stuff, but I am not good at seeing movies or even caring about them. I'll usually buy a Blu-ray, like Pacific Rim. I never saw it in theaters, but I bought the Blu-ray. I'm kind of a cheap ass like that. I'd rather just buy the movie and not waste the money going to the theaters. Now I do go every now and then, but you know I'm sitting here thinking about that, the Pacific Rim and Godzilla, made by Warner Brothers this time around, right? Both of them.
Yeah, they're both made by Warner Brothers and Legendary, but those two companies are splitting. So
just imagine if they could do a Pacific Rim / Godzilla thing.
Yeah, there's been lots of fan speculation about that, but it is never gonna happen.
I tell you, dude, this is what I know about Godzilla. He's a tall monster that kicks the crap out of Tokyo. That's about all I know. Now, does he come from another dimension, a portal?
No, he's a dinosaur that got nuked.
Okay, he's a dinosaur that got nuked.
Yeah, they might change it a bit come this summer.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what it has been.
And that's where Robo, or the mechanical dinosaur, came from, right? They put his bones back together.
Mechagodzilla?
Yeah, Mecha.
Yeah, that's the third Mechagodzilla.
I like the look of that. I think it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I have a big 12-inch figure of that one. I love it.
Is that one of those Bandai hard plastic figures?
Yeah.
Gotcha. I've seen those at Toys R Us. And then I guess NECA is going to be releasing some Godzilla figures.
They will be, absolutely. Yeah, they already said they're going to.
Right. Is that I heard I heard the quarter scale, or definitely not a quarter scale, but the 18-inch or 20-inch. Do you think they're gonna make 7-inch?
Probably.
That'd be awesome to have some. Even if we don't get a film, it would still be cool to have Pacific Rim and Godzilla in the same scale. I'll definitely have to go back and learn quite a bit more about Godzilla Origins before I got real excited. But that's I'm sorry.
I saw on NECA's Twitter where they said they might do some classic Godzilla figures as well.
That would be awesome. Isn't that like a 68? Isn't that when it came out?
54.
54. Holy shit, man. Wow.
Yeah.
I know that see what I really like about NECA, and there's a lot of things I like about NECA, but one of the things is they put their opinion like pretty high up there. Like they had, when they got that RoboCop license, they didn't even go after the new movie because they didn't like the design. And they do that with a lot of properties. Now, whether or not that's selfish, that's another debate. But I know Randy and everybody over there, they're big fans of Godzilla, and they're big fans of Planet of the Apes. And I believe there's a new Planet of the Apes coming out. And I don't know if you heard about that, but they're going to be making tons of Planet of the Ape figures. Whether or not you're into that or not. Yeah, I mean, when he was talking about it, he said he's digging deep. He wants it to be just like the Predator franchise.
That's insane.
Yeah, that is insane. That was actually my dad's favorite movie, and over the last weekend, I watched the first and second one just to try to get excited about it. It's not my favorite movies by no means, but I am excited to see what NECA can bring to the table. And then talking about NECA again, I don't know if there's a website called figures.com, and a guy went to the NECA studio a couple months ago. He recorded it, and he got to have a sneak peek at a couple of NECA's properties they're working on. And have you seen that wolf predator they're working on? It's basically it's actually not the wolf, it's the Scar. They'll probably do another wolf, but it's a Alien vs Predator Scar figure. Have you seen that at all?
Yeah, I heard they were bringing No, I haven't seen it yet, but I heard they were bringing it back.
Yeah, well, on Facebook I'll post it and tag you in it. But the Scar figure, just judging by the sculpt in the guy's hand while he's working on it, it's got an ab crunch, it's got double elbows, and it's got a bicep swivel, and the communication gauntlet opens up just like the figure arts.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so it's basically a figure arts, but not really. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's the figure arts is going to come with a massive amount of accessories. 2 heads, different mandible options. So it doesn't compare to Monster Arts in that regards, but I think that's still pretty cool, and I'm definitely excited for that. I know.
Awesome.
Yeah, I know you're more of a Aliens fan than a Predators fan, right?
Actually, I'm pretty equal on them.
Okay, is it the design? I remember hearing you say something that you like. Was it the Xenomorph designs that you like more than the Predator? I don't know if it was a review.
Yeah, I like the comics more. I like the Aliens comics more.
Gotcha.
Because all the Predator comics just seem to be the same story over and over.
Gotcha.
And then the Aliens one, they can mix them up more because they can have the Xenomorph get into some other creature and then come out and be different and have different powers, or they can have like the story arc from the Genocide 2-pack with the red and the black aliens fighting each other. That was pretty cool.
Tell how does that go? Because I just bought the figures. I know they come from the comics, and isn't it a video game also, or no?
I don't really know much about the video games. I had one Aliens video game, and it really sucked.
Gotcha.
So
yeah, I never had any. So. Well, what's the comics about? Why is there a red, a blue? I think there's even a yellow. Is that like? I assumed that was part of. I thought there was a Aliens Genocide game, and I assumed that was part of like the multiplayer part of the movie or the video game. I could be completely wrong, but do they explain that in the comics? Why is there different color?
It's kind of like a subspecies.
Is it like?
And they're trying to wipe. I never finished that arc though. I never finished it.
I got you. Yeah,
right.
I'm like that too. I'll read up on something and never make it through.
Yeah, that's me. But it was what I read was pretty cool. I'll have to find it somewhere. I have a buddy who reads a lot of Alien comics, so
gotcha.
I'll ask him if he has.
Yeah, I try to get into comics, but I don't know. I'm more of a Predator fan than an Alien fan. I love the Alien designs. It seems to me like Predator's more like, a mindless action film, where Aliens is a mind thriller. It definitely seems like there's a lot more thought in the Alien universe when it comes like at least the first Alien. But I love the music, and to me, that's the reason why I love Predator so much. In a lot of the '80s films, even like the Transformer movie, Predators, Rambo, Terminator, all those movies that have like a custom soundtrack to it, where somebody basically makes the soundtrack while they're watching the movie. I always love those type of movies. It's really cool. They don't do that enough anymore. They just put some famous person on the soundtrack and call it good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, they still do that. They still do that more than you think, because I'm a film major, actually.
Okay, gotcha.
And you're right in several respects, but they do it.
I know, like in Pacific Rim, where that was one reason why I really enjoyed Pacific Rim. Was
oh yeah, it had a great soundtrack.
Yeah, at least while you're watching the movie, I wouldn't call it. It wasn't the same to me as Predator, where Predator had like a symphony behind it, but it had awesome. They utilized the effects and the sounds, just magnificent. All those like horns, and it was kind of the same as like that was the only thing I liked about the Transformer movies was the sound effects that they did. I'm really big into sound in movies. I just think it really makes an experience amazing. But is that what you're going to college for arts?
Yeah, just film in general. Really, I love me some movies. Always have.
What are you trying to take from that? You trying to get into making films, or
at this point I'm not too sure, because I would honestly love to do anything except editing, because that's boring.
See, I don't mind editing, but I'm a perfectionist, you know what I mean? That definitely not on YouTube or whatever, try to have fun, but it's hard work, man. It's definitely harder than some people could imagine to make especially those computer animated crap. I just think about all the designers that spent countless hours CAD drawing all that crap, I mean,
right.
That's just an immense amount of work. I see you update all the time about college, taking tests.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what it's about, huh? Is your film?
Right, my film.
That's awesome. Film
I just
major.
finished. Yeah.
You just finished what?
I just finished a semester.
What semester are you in?
I'm about to start my fourth.
Oh, wow. So is that going to get you to an associate's or bachelor's? I mean.
Fourth semester. That's about 2 years. I'm almost at the associate's. I've almost got it.
I gotcha. Well,
Very close. Very close.
congratulations, man.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem, man. That's pretty cool. It's always good to do something you love.
Oh yeah.
And hopefully you can make a couple.
And
hopefully
I
you
should
can make
be
a
able
couple
to
bucks
find
for
a
it.
job in it.
It's alright.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
even if you're, there's a lot of different things you could do with that. I'm sure.
And Georgia's becoming a pretty big state for film now. So.
Yeah, I know Michigan. I don't know if they do anymore, but they for a while there, during that whatever you want to call it, the second recession or the 2008, they were offering a lot of incentives for film studios to come to Michigan to make movies. Mm-hmm. It was a lot. Like you'd get a couple $1 million to make a film here, and a lot of movies over the last 5 years were made in Michigan. You know, from that, yeah, from that guy that plays Wolverine, that robot movie.
Hugh Jackman?
Yeah, Hugh Jackman. That film was made here, and you got American Pie, whatever, 2 or 3, that was here, and tons of other ones. My brother owns a couple tattoo studios here. I never seen the movie, but that movie Bullet with 50 Cent or whatever. There was a movie he made called Bullet. I think it was him and Bruce Willis. I'm not sure, but there's a part in that movie where he's getting a tattoo, and they rented my brother's tattoo parlor to film that. He wasn't the guy doing tattoo, but they used his everything there. They used his shop and his chair and everything.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. But you'll see that it still goes on because there was quite a few other. There'll always be movie setups around the city, you know, where stuff is blocked off because they're filming something. It's a pretty big incentive, I guess, to come here and film. So you could always get a tax break and film something here, man. Hey, thanks for checking out this Any podcast. Most likely here on out we're going to call it Figures in Plastic Podcast, representing our group, FIGPLA, so it'll be the FIGPLA podcast. It was great having Hunt on, and this was really just a test to get us, capable of seeing if we could record. My setup's completely different. Dirt was, the recorder on the last shows, and, this was just unprofessional. Let's get together, BS, see what happens. I had fun. I hope Hunt had fun. Hunt's on YouTube. That's where I found him, called Godzilla and Gigan. I think he's very professional, does a great job, and that's why I asked him to come on this podcast, and he agreed, and I'm hoping he'll come back. I'd like him to be a staple of this show, the Figure and Plastic Podcast, FIGPLA. You can find us on Facebook. You can find both of us on YouTube. And it was great. Next time around, it's going to be more structured, more professional, and we're going to try to do it to the best of our ability and have fun. So wherever you're listening, if you made it this far, we really appreciate that. Till next time.